Hello and welcome to this taste challenge. I did a mix up on the alternate channel earlier today. Anti-war. That's my alternate channel. Anti-war. I did a Tahitian treat mixed up with a Canadian whiskey. Okay, so I guess I have enough Tahitian treat left to do. Oh, what should I do? Maybe rum and tequila. That might be a good mix up. Probably won't make a difference because Tahitian treat is such a strong flavor, it overrides any of the liquor put into it. To a large to for the most part. Uh, and turns out I did see Tahitian treat right over there at Winn Dixie. Thought only one store sold it, but nope. I saw it at Winn Dixie, and they had a special today: two for $4, 2 liters, two of them for $4, so $2 a bottle. Good deal. And they had the 12 packs, which was 2 for $13, $6.50 a 12 pack. I don't know about that deal, but anyway, but yeah, I said, well, look at that, cans and bottles. But that was for the other channel. Right now, we're doing whiskey. Who likes whiskey? Here is Bellows Club Whiskey, American blended whiskey. This company was founded in 1830. I'm not kidding you. William Bellows Company. But by the time this bottle was made, it was owned by the Beam Company. This is a old mid-90s Beam bottle. If you look at old bottles of Old Crow and some of their other products, they have this conical shape. In 2014, might have been 2015. Well, it doesn't matter. But in 2014, this was sold to Luxco. But I don't think Club Whiskey is still produced. But look, I put in the notes, possibly discontinued. Because you never know with these companies. You say it's discontinued, and a week later you go in a store and there's fresh bottles of it. But honestly, I haven't seen any new bottles of this in my life. I've seen this one, which is old. I bought it about 3 years ago for $8.99. It's a liter, $8.99. A liter. But I haven't seen any fresh bottles of it. Now here's a new product, an NKOTB, a new kid on the block. Iron Wheel Kentucky blended whiskey, introduced in 2019, 4 long years ago. This is aged 3 years. And this is blended at a 75-25 blend ratio. 25% straight whiskey, 75% unaged grain neutral spirits. Claude Diamond says Ron is the Elvis of liquor reviews. Now that can be taken in a good or a bad way, can it? Can it not? Okay, this is blended at 80-20, 80% grain neutral spirits, only 20% straight whiskey. But it says straight whiskeys in this product are 4 or more years old. So the straight whiskey in here are 4 years or older. The straight whiskeys in here are 3 years or 3 years. It doesn't say or older. It says 3 years. Definitive. Okay. There's an essay on the side of the bottle about the iron wheel, the importance of the iron wheel in agriculture in the United States. If it'll focus. There we go. No, Sazerac is not the only company to put essays on their bottles. J.W. Dant Blended Scotch has a long, drawn-out essay on their bottle about Scotch whiskey, and whiskey in general. Claude says, only good. All right, the good Elvis stuff, not the bad. Whiskey tasting, not whiskey. dependents. And I remember in 1976, we were on a sailboat in Mobile Bay, Alabama, Mobile Bay, and some people we were visiting said, "Oh, this is black, gold, and white." The label is black, gold, and white, like the New Orleans Saints football team, black, gold, and white, or Georgia Tech. And they were saying we went to see Elvis Presley at the Mobile Civic Center, so right by the interstate, kind of a big, mid-size arena. And they said he looked sick. Like it was, they were complaining. They said the concert was terrible. He looked sick. He was fat, like he was overweight. He looked sick. And remember, my parents were like, "What?" They were thinking, "What? What are you talking about?" And I was sitting on the sailboat thinking that doesn't sound good. That's all I thought to myself. That doesn't sound good. Didn't think about it again until exactly 1 year later, August of 1977. I was in my room playing with these model cars. My friend Johnny Vendetti. Johnny, if you're listening, call me because I cannot find your name on Facebook. I don't know what happened to Johnny Vendetti. All right. So we were playing with these model cars that my uncle had made, glued together and stuff. And my mother opened the door and she says, "Elvis died." And she shut the door. I don't know why she did it like that. So I told Johnny, I said, "I got to go." And I got up, went downstairs, turned on the news, of course, CBS, of course. And it was Walter Cronkite, I guess. This is a CBS News special report. Elvis Presley has died at age 42. And then it went on and on all day. It was already 2 in the afternoon, I guess, when I heard it. But then we went out to eat at the Pepper Mill in Metairie, Louisiana. My father always says that. "Remember when Elvis Presley died? We went to eat at the Pepper Mill." I said, "I remember that. It's still open." And the news talk radio was trying to play some of his songs, but they never played music on that station. So they tried to play "Return to Sender," address unknown. And they tried to play the 45, but they put it on the wrong speed, so it was like real sped up, like "Return to Sender." And they said, "Okay, we'll try it again." And they played it the second time correctly, the correct speed. And I remember my parents were like crying in the car. I was just thinking about it, like as a 9-year-old, I was thinking about it like this is a big news event. And in that sense of it. Anyway, well, they're both about the same color. Chestnut, roasting on an open fire. Gotta get that light on. Turn on this light. All right. So they're both 80 proof. Now the difference is that one is age 3 years and the other one's age 4 years. But the one age 4 years is a lower ratio of straight whiskey, whereas the one age only 3 years is a higher ratio of straight whiskey. So they'll say stuff on the bottles like select whiskeys. Yeah, they're select, but they're probably selected for the wrong reasons. What I mean is, I can't back this up. What I'm saying is, sorry, my nose was sniffly. I can't back it up. What I mean is, I think this is a theory. This is not fact. This is theory more than fact. I think and this could be wrong, totally wrong. Maybe they really are sitting down in a board meeting and saying, we got to pick the best straight bourbon to put in these blends and then sell them for $8.99 a liter. But what I think is really happening is that they're taking mainline, like really famous bourbons, and they don't have to use bourbon. It could be any straight whiskey. It wouldn't matter. It could be straight corn whiskey. It wouldn't matter. But it when you taste it, you think it's got to be bourbon. But they like they'll take one of their main brands. Let's say Sazerac, Buffalo Trace, who makes Iron Wheel. It's not the Founders Company. That's an alias name. It's Buffalo Trace. Okay, they're trying to distance themselves from it, but too bad you can't do it. I got you pinned down, which wouldn't take much research looking at the bottle, but so it's aged 3 years. Okay, so they might take Ancient Age. Ancient Age is aged 3 years. Very common straight bourbon. Well, in Louisiana it is. I don't know about your state. Very common here. And the preferred, the blended is kind of common. All right, so but Ancient Age, very common. All right, so let's say they have a batch of Ancient Age and it's off a little bit. They'll admit on the websites like some of the stuff is a little off. Well, they're not going to dump it. If you think they're going to dump it, you're living in a dream world. Or they're going to dump it, but in another container that blends, whatever those containers are that blend the whiskey. They're going to dump it in that and blend the grain neutral spirits in there with it at a 75-25 ratio, raw, unaged. Now, some people say vodka, but it's not vodka. And they kind of betray their ignorance by saying that it's grain neutral spirits. Vodka is a type of grain spirit. Grain neutral spirits and vodka are two separate types of grain spirits. That's a class. Okay. Bourbon is a type of whiskey, which is a class of liquor. Liquor comes in different classes. All right. Gin is a class of liquor. But you could learn that on your own without listening to me by just reading. But people hate to read, these days. They just want to look at, I don't know what they look at. But reading, oh no. All right, so they blend it together and then they bottle it. Of course, they filter it, but in various ways. But what I'm driving at is that they are probably, but once again, but I have evidence to back that up from videos I saw from Heaven Hill or featuring Heaven Hill that they're using cast off bourbon. That was insufficient in certain ways. But could it work in a blend like this? Yeah, probably so. You say, yeah, they probably do that with scotch. Yeah, right. Like, I bought some pretty inexpensive scotch, White Horse, which they claim uses, what did they say on the website? The heart of White Horse is Lagavulin. Well, Lagavulin ain't no cheap scotch. So are they just taking the choicest Lagavulin single malt and blending it with White Horse? Or are they taking Lagavulin that didn't come out so well? It's like Dewar's White Label and Dewar's 12-year. They'll say the same thing. The heart of Dewar's is Aberfeldy single malt. Yeah, but are they taking the best Aberfeldy or are they taking Aberfeldy that didn't? Okay, but you get the point. All right. But no big deal, no crisis, because we're talking about $8.99 for a 750 versus $8.99 for a liter. So of course, Bellows Club Whiskey has the advantage at this point. Now, I haven't seen this at international market in at least 3 years. They had it on the shelf. Oh, they must have had at least 12 bottles. It was $8.99. You could tell it's old because it was even like, look how deteriorated the label is. Probably roaches eating that paper. Who knows? I cleaned it off with hot water and soap. Don't worry. I didn't leave it nasty. I had to really clean up this bottle, let me tell you. But it's gone. All right. So we're not talking about extraordinary amounts of money. We're talking about really low amounts of money. Hector Lopez says, "Hi, Ronald." Hi, Hector. Well, Hector, I appreciate you trying to send that beer. I'm sorry it didn't work out where it never got shipped, or the company kept telling you, "Oh, it's coming, it's on the way," and it doesn't arrive. And this is why I tell people, don't bother shipping me beer. It's a big hassle, and it just leads to trouble. And there's an example. He said he's going to ask for his money back because it's been a month. But Hector's not one of these weirdos on the internet, where you say, "Well, where's the beer? You said you were going to send me beer." You're just asking, then they block you. You say, "Well, that's just a typical maniac." That's true. It is. But I don't want them to talk to me. Let them go, bother somebody else about beer. Like, oh, well, I can get beer. I can buy beer here. Basically, an unlimited supply. I could do a video a day. I could do one video a day, every day, 365 a year, and I wouldn't run out. So, I mean, they're acting like, "Oh, can you believe I'm going to send you some beer?" I'm like, not this again. But I mean, with Hector, it wasn't like that because you can kind of tell when they're not crazy, and he was like, talk like a non-crazy person. In other words, sane, SANE, is versus INSANE. All right, so they're both chestnut. Let's see how they taste. Oh, a comment. Hector says, "Did you see the 12,000 bottles full of liquor, drugs in Mexico traveling to the USA through the ports of Mexico?" No, I didn't see it, but I wouldn't be shocked. I was going to send you the beer, but they lost my mail. Yeah, unfortunately, they probably stole it. And then they'll claim it got lost. I'm not joking about that. It's a big risk. It's just not worth it. I'm sorry, folks. It's not worth it. People say, "I want you to try this beer, and I want to see what you think." And I do want to try it. But what do I always tell people? Don't go through the trouble. It's not worth it. And invariably, it turns out it's not worth it. And then some people get angry, like, I don't review it the way they want. It's like, you sent it to me. You told me to tell you what I thought about it. And then I tell people what I think about it, and they get upset. You should write me a script. Say, this is what you should say about the aroma. Here's what I want you to say about the flavor. Okay, I'll do it. I'll just tell everybody it's from a script. All right. And then once that's over, I'll tell people what I really think about it. Um, uh, this has like a coconut flavor. I swear it does. Sounds bizarre, doesn't it? But it is. It's like coconut, vanilla, um, typical whiskey flavor, sugar water, charred oak, some honeysuckle nectar. Just everything is typical. So, but it's a little more coconut than you would get with normal whiskey. But does it taste exotic or strange, or would this confuse people if they tasted it? No. If they tasted it, they would say, "Well, what kind of whiskey is that?" Right? Nobody would say, "What rum is that?" Nobody's going to say, "What tequila is that?" No, they're going to say, "What is this whiskey?" End of story. Now, I'm not saying they're going to adore it or think it's wonderful, but they probably just think, it's regular old whiskey. Let's watch the game. It's not going to be contemplative. They're not going to think about it, like make a big production over it, kind of like I am here, but I'm going off on so many tangents. Has a little bit of that pepperiness, which I had kind of complained about in the past with the club whiskey because it was a bit of a harshness. But I'm thinking it might be club whiskey. They had this on the shelf at a local Chinese restaurant. It wasn't there the last time I went there. They only had like that much left in a bottle the first time, so they probably used it and they couldn't get it anymore. They just ordered something else cheap. Uh, Walmart has Kessler blended for $13 for the handle. 1.75 liter. Is it palatable? Yes, in fact, it is. And it's the second best selling blended whiskey in the United States. The first is Seagram 7 Crown. You see that everywhere. The legend. And then the second best selling is Kessler. But actually, Kessler is older. Kessler is much older. It's from the I think it's 1888. Get this autofocus to work. Yeah, so Kessler is actually an older brand. Still number 2. Yeah. $13. That's actually a very low price because the lowest I've seen it around here is like, oh, well, maybe I saw it for $13.99 and then I bought it, but I think the price has gone up. One of the beers was Old English malt liquor at 7.5. Now, I would have been really interested in trying that, Hector. I would have been extremely interested in trying that. So that's why Hector's getting aggravated because I cannot get that here. And that's been on my wish list for so long. So he goes through all this trouble and the stuff does not arrive. It's really disgusting. Not for Hector, but I mean for the people he shipped with. Brando says, did you hear about the Belgian Port Authority? Yes, destroying thousands of cases of High Life because they said it, calling it the champagne of beers was misleading and harmful to winemakers. Yeah, I saw that article. It's a joke. It was in the newspaper. Nobody on earth would think that Miller High Life is actual champagne. They're going to clearly think that it's simply what? A description of the beer, the champagne of beers, like a nickname for it. So that's totally wrong. It's a disgusting thing. And I think the U.S. government should retaliate. And I mean really retaliate. Any kind of Belgian or European Union product that makes any kind of nickname for their product that sort of alludes to American products, they should destroy all the products. I know you can't get that beer. Ron did a review on Old English last week. Yes, Claude, but it was not the West Coast 7.5. That's a separate product. Claude, I saw Old English around in Los Angeles. Yeah, it's around. But now how prominent it is, that's a different story. All right, let's go on with the taste over here. Yeah, it's a different product. It's like Steel Reserve. We get a different Steel Reserve in Louisiana. We get 6% Steel Reserve, which is much more mellow and nicer than the harsh, rather abrasive 8.1%. That's for sure. And I'm unanimous in that. The one in my right hand seems milder, smoother, a little easier going. Or maybe it's younger, three years. Maybe that's older. So at this point, I get the feeling that I've been wrong almost every time with Iron Wheel. Iron Wheel is a perplexing thing. At this point, I think this is the Iron Wheel, and I think this is the Bellows, but I can't look too close because I'll see the label. I don't want to get it right on cheating. I want to get it right on tasting. So let's taste it. It's been a beautiful day, but it's getting cloudy. But it was for about 3 hours. It was sunny, no clouds. But that didn't last. But it was nice for that 3-hour period. Yeah, there's a little, not a lot. In the past, there was a lot, but I don't know. I think these bottles change as you drink them down. But there's a little of that pepperiness, like black pepper. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't contain black pepper, but something about it. Let's go over here. I am picking up a little grain spirit, like the corn distillate, but it's not harsh or anything. Vanilla barrel, oak barrel. No, are they really different? Nah. I mean, they're different, but honestly, if you're going to pay $8.99, you may as well get a liter rather than a 750, right? So here you got two choices, but in actuality, you don't have two choices. I don't think this is still produced. But like me, you might run across it in some store just sitting on the shelf for the last 30 years. I think this bottle is like 30 years old. The bottle might be 40 years old, but it's old. It's got a UPC, Universal Product Code, and it doesn't have the UPC, Universal Product Code, and it doesn't have the tax ribbons on it, tax stamp, whatever that is. I call them ribbons. Those were deleted in 1983. The last year they required that was 83. So after 83, they stopped putting that, the tax thing. It just incorporated some other way. So that's a good benchmark to you, or a good signpost to use. And the UPC is another one, because those you didn't see this, you didn't see UPC code. You didn't see that too much until later on. It's scanned with a laser reader. Although maybe it started in 1976, around that time, and it just slowly caught on. It didn't catch on overnight. Probably wasn't until the mid 90s when everything had that. It was probably later than that, but we just thinking it was the 90s. All right. It's like color television. You think it was 1972 when everything went color, but it was like kind of like 1972. But then you see television broadcasts from the late 70s that are in black and white. It's like, well, that's not in color. Usually from like independent stations, like public television, and they're not in color because those companies didn't have the money to go and just throw out all their black and white tape. They were like, we got 7,000 hours of black and white tape, and we're using it. And when it's gone, then we'll pay for color. Isle of Fire says, I have an Old English brand 800 lined up for when I finish this Heineken. Oh, good. Well, Hector, you did the best you could do, and I would love to try the Old English 7.5 West Coast edition, but looks like that ain't going to happen, huh? All right, let's go with the final assessment. They're both fine, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and put on an act like they're bad or something and be all dramatic. They're not. They're fine. If you're looking to drink whiskey, and I'm never looking to drink whiskey. I don't really drink whiskey. And you say, well, you do like a video every day. Yeah, but those are taste challenges. Those are not drinking videos. And honestly, if you came to my house here in Louisiana and you saw what I was drinking, it would be beer, of course, a whole lot of water, but you're not going to see me come home from work and say, oh, I got to have a drink and I'm going to pour a whiskey. You're not going to see it. It's not going to happen. I'll pour a beer. So I do taste challenges, but to say I'm a whiskey drinker, it's not correct. Any tips about Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon leaving? I don't have any tips about that. No, I don't have any tips or thoughts. I bet you can guess which one I preferred. All right. Here comes the railroad. The CPKC Railroad. barreling down the track heading east. Beer is the greatest beverage ever, says Isle of Fire. I agree with that. All right. Now, I think this is the club whiskey. Yeah, same here. Club whiskey. Jesus turned wine into, he turned water into wine. He didn't turn water into beer. So I guess we'll say wine is the greatest beverage. But even that being said, people still have their preferences. All right. I don't think they had Miller High Life at the wedding at Cana, though. All right. It was probably Palestine High Life. Train whistle never gets old. Nope. They just keep good points, says Oliver. All right. So I'm going to say this is the club whiskey. I got it. Oh, first time right. Well, I'm glad to see this happening. So I got a lot of challenges left, so I can still get in a winning record. But would I buy Iron Wheel over club whiskey? No, because I could get the club whiskey for a liter at the same price I could get Iron Wheel. That's theoretical because I don't think I can get club whiskey anymore, actually. I can't really get Iron Wheel unless I go to Prairieville, Louisiana, which I'm not going to do since it's like 44 miles away. But we're speaking in a theoretical sense. So if you're looking for club whiskey, probably you ain't going to find it. But on the other hand, a lot of liquor stores have incredible amounts of backstock. So if you go in a liquor store and they got Bellows Club Whiskey and it's $8.99 for a liter, oh yeah, you got to buy it. Now, if it's $9.99, you should buy it. If it's $10.99, yeah, you could think about it, but I'd still buy it. Above that, I wouldn't buy it. But there you go. How much do we have left? 3 taste challenges. I think that should make it to 3. Maybe only 2, but I think 3. Yeah, it's a guess. The next time we come here on a taste challenge, it's going to be Iron Wheel. See what happens when you wake up at 1:55, 1:51. It's going to be Iron Wheel versus Bellows American Whiskey. I think that's the one they have now. I think it's been replaced. I think it's been replaced by what you can get now. There's a website for it. Bellows American Blended Whiskey, bottled in Missouri. I think that's the one you can get. I think you can get. Now, it's never been popular or common in Louisiana. So if you're coming to Louisiana to look for Bellows, well, you're going to get disappointed. McCormick, oh yeah. A lot of stores sell McCormick. Not here in this town, but east. Yeah. And like I said, Iron Wheel, forget it. So I'm basically dealing with some pretty obscure products. Once we get off of the man, this autofocus is driving me crazy. Then it goes out of focus. Once we get on the Well, I got Kessler's. That's the #2 best-selling whiskey in America. I got Seagram 7 Crown, which everybody knows about that. But yeah, most of what I have is sort of obscure. So yeah, yeah, never mind. If you don't watch, I won't take offense. Then we're gonna go on to Canada. We're gonna take a trip to Canada. Yep, we are, and then we're gonna do a Canadian blended whiskey, and it's gonna take me a long time to watch those reviews. I've never had it in my life, but I'm planning to try it. It's called Crown Royal Reserve. Oh no, it's no 8.99 a bottle. It's $50 a bottle or less. 50, 45 to $50 a bottle. Oh yes, Crown Royal Reserve. It's like Crown Royal, but way better from what I've been reading. So that's coming up after we are finished with these taste challenges, which probably has a lot to do with why I've been speeding up these taste challenges. It's like I'm getting antsy. I want to try it. Okay, we have a winner. We do. I like the typography of the Iron Wheel label. Says Olive Fire. I do too. I think Sazerac. I think Buffalo Trace did a great job. I love the label. I love the essay on the side. Great label. Not a great whiskey, but certainly a nice one. I don't think Buffalo Trace knows how to put out a bad product. They put out the worst products they put out are like pretty good. You know, like they're okay. They're good. B minus. They probably don't really make a B minus. It's probably B. Probably the worst thing they make is a B. A B, and then it goes up. Good to very good to excellent to most excellent to outstanding to world class. That's what Buffalo Trace deals with. So that's a good thing. So if you get the worst product Buffalo Trace makes, you're still getting a good product. All right. Sometimes we buy labels only. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I didn't. In this case, I did not buy the label. I bought the price. It said $8.99. I'm like, I'm buying it. $8.99. I'm buying it. And the same day, they had the Hervey brandy from the same company, of course. Sazerac Hervey brandy for $8.99, and I'm like, I'm buying it. Actually, Hervey is good. I would rather drink Hervey than Iron Wheel, and I would like to drink Iron Wheel. So Iron Wheel is good. Mercedes Benz #1, and Hervey is even better. All right, y'all take care now.